Hey guys, and welcome to an art tutorial. I feel like I haven't been in camera in this channel since I was bald. And I shaved all my hair off and look how, well, I cut it once, but it's still so long. Am I wearing the same shirt as that video? Maybe, because I only wear like 4 shirts when I'm at home, so I might be wearing the same shirt, so excuse me if I am. I thought I would film the video differently today since we're doing something different. Let's try something new. I think this is gonna be my new format when I do art videos that require me getting to do something. If you're wondering why I have all this overlay on top, it's because my overlay is meticulously made so you don't see parts of my room that I don't want you to see. Well, maybe the music if us. Let's take the music off. But yeah, this is meticulously crafted so that you do not see things I don't want you to see. And you're wondering, Cams, what things you don't want to see? You're hiding something from us? Well, I'm gonna show you very quickly and then you can see why. You saw that, right? You saw all the mess. So yeah, I'm hiding my mess behind this little thing. If it's uncomfortable for anyone, I'm sorry. I also hide my window because my mom sometimes peeks through it, and sometimes she's in. Is there a way to say paños menores in English? I don't know. Okay, but we're not here to talk about me. Today I'm gonna do a video that I've actually recorded 2 times, but I hated both of them, so 3rd time's the charm. I actually did my makeup and everything because I thought if I put a lot of effort into this video, then I'm gonna feel bad about deleting it. So I did my makeup and it's 1 a.m. So that hasn't changed. I'm still recording my videos at 1 a.m. But today I'm gonna show you how I sketch my drawings, or how I sketch. I don't know what else you would sketch that isn't drawings. But yeah, let's hopefully get into this and I won't ramble. I'll try to be good, okay? I'll try to be good, but no promises. Well, hello there, we're here now. I am in this little box. I don't think I'm gonna need to show anything on this side, but just in case, I'll take the camera off. But yeah, let's start with the blank canvas. So we're here with the blank canvas, and if you're wondering, Cams, why is there a square up there? Well, it's because I have a easier time sketching when I can see the full product in a smaller one. So I'm just gonna open another window and put it in my other screen. If you don't have another screen, that's fine. You don't have to do this step. It's just that it's how my brain works in this way. I don't have to be zooming out all the time. So yeah, that's why that's there. Okay, so the first thing is I can't sketch in this white canvas because my eyeballs hurt. The first thing I do is I add a layer with just like a 40% gray. It's like the only thing I do that I learned in illustration class years ago. I took illustration because if you don't know this about me, I'm a professional graphic designer and I took illustration 1 semester, and the one thing that I still apply from that illustration class, I don't apply anything else I learned there. The only thing I apply is the 40% gray background. So this helps my eyeballs hurt less. So if you sometimes find that sketching hurts your eyes a lot, well, maybe if I were wearing the right glasses, because I just realized I put on these glasses for a selfie. These are not my glasses. These are heart-shaped cute glasses. Okay, now I'm wearing appropriate glasses. It still hurts a lot, especially because I have the ring light on. And now where's my pen? Step 2, find your pen because it always gets lost.
6.5 hours later.
Pen was underneath the tablet. Now, the thing you want to do is look for a reference. Now, I forgot to look for a good reference. And then I thought, you know, I could just use one of my own pictures. So I'm going to use this drawing I did a few months ago of Not Girl as my reference today. And I like having it either on my second screen or on my phone, depending on what I'm doing. Also, if the audio in this video is different and weird, is because this is not how I usually record my videos. In a new layer, I'm gonna do what I call the undersketch. And what is the undersketch, you might ask? Well, the undersketch is just a very messy version of where your drawing is gonna be. So with the undersketch, you're just gonna wanna lay down the pose you want. I'm gonna do like a pose I do a lot just to make this easier, quicker, and we are not here for 30 minutes, which we might be, because it's already been 9 minutes. I'm just gonna sketch something, and I usually start with the head. I know a lot of people say you should start with the torso, with the body. I start with the head because I'm mostly a portrait artist. But even when it's not a portrait, I still start with the head. And I kind of, you know, just lay down how I want the head to look. I'm looking at my reference. The ear. I'm not gonna go into like anatomy in this video because one, I am a terrible anatomy teacher, and two, like once again, it would be like 3 hours long. So I'm just showing you like a quick way. I always put where the eyes go really big because I tend to make eyes smaller. You'll see. And these are like general positions. Like this might not look like this. Like the nose might be a little higher, the lips might be different. It's just a very general position. Sometimes I skip a lot of this sketching, but since we're here to learn, I'm gonna explain as much as I can. So you can see I just laid out the lines, and now I just put the opacity really low. And I lock the layer because I tend to mix layers and merge layers, and it's a mess. Now this undersketch usually takes a long time depending on if it's something new. Like I've done this post a million times, so I kind of have an idea of what it's gonna look like. But as I said, I'm trying to make things as simple as possible today. You can start wherever you want, but I have a hard time visualizing how if the drawing is gonna be good if I don't have a face done. So the first thing I work on is the face, and I detail the face a lot before I even work on anything else. But you do whatever you're comfortable with. I'm just gonna draw the face, and I always start with the eyes. As I said, I usually draw the eyes bigger. Sometimes I leave them big, depends on like what I'm going for. Sometimes I make them smaller. I'm just gonna go like with like my most basic design today, just to be fast, and I might speed this up if I'm not talking, you know? One of the things I get asked about a lot is how I draw eyebrows. I don't know how I draw eyebrows, okay? But you can see here how I do it and maybe you learn something. Now, something that I see a lot of people struggle with is the other eye, especially when it's not, you know, face front. Because if you have problems face front and you're doing digital, copy paste or use the symmetry tool, because my god, like why are you making life like harder for you when the symmetry tool exists, you know? Work faster, not harder. I can like explain to you my logic with the other eye, and sometimes I struggle with the other eye a lot. What I can tell you is that your other eye is kind of like a squished version of the other one, and I'm gonna show you a little trick if you're having trouble with the other eye that I like to do when I'm having trouble with it. Basically, I just copy the eye and then I flip it and then I squeeze it like that, and then I start positioning it, just moving it around until I like it. As you can see, if I keep looking that way, is because I'm looking at the little preview I made before, which you see up there. And the reason I keep looking at it is because it really helps me see the overall picture. While here I'm zoomed in and I'm not sure how it's looking for far away. You see, that doesn't look too bad. Now, I wouldn't have made it like that probably, like these here. It's a little too high, but it actually looks good and I think it's a good tip. So I'm gonna leave it as it is. Also, I flip my canvas a lot because there's positions for me are more comfortable. So for me, it's more comfortable to do an eyebrow towards this side than towards the other side. So you just use the tools you have if you're doing digital, because there's no reason for you to be making things harder for you. You have the eyes. Okay, so The way I sketch eyeballs is I used to sketch eyeballs like, you know, this, oops, this. But I found that it was a little hard for me to imagine or get them looking good. So this is how I've been sketching eyeballs. I think I learned this from, actually I'm not sure who I learned this from, but I know I learned it from someone, so. You know, a big part of being an artist is learning from others. Now flip your canvas. I know a lot of people don't like flipping the canvas because they see their mistakes, but I'm just gonna tell you that the reason you see your mistakes when you flip it is because your eye is used to, or your brain, not your eyes are just seeing, is used to seeing the picture in a certain way. And when you flip it, you start seeing all the little mistakes that you were not used to. But believe me, if you keep looking at the flip version, eventually you'll get used to the mistakes again. So just go fixing it, like, or don't. If you don't want to fix them, don't. Most people don't notice your mistakes. That's something I learned a long time ago. Sometimes I make the mouth crooked and I notice after I post it, but nobody notices the crooked mouth but me. Maybe some people do. They're nice enough to not comment on it. Now, as I mentioned previously, I have a hard time visualizing the drawing if I don't add an access of detail from the beginning. So I'm gonna add some details to this eye. Not necessary. Another reason I like adding an access of details is because I upload my sketches to Patron for tier 1. So I feel like they're getting a little bit extra juice if the sketch is a little prettier. Now the eyes are looking pretty cute. Now, as I mentioned before, I usually like make the eyes a little smaller. Okay, so now I'm gonna just work on the rest of the face. I might talk now and again. I think I would like to add here is that if you can work on layers, just makes everything easier. I'll show you why in a second. Another tip here, while I'm doing it, I rotate my canvas a lot. Once again, because there's positions that are just more comfortable for me to draw lines. So if you have problems sometimes drawing, maybe try flipping or rotating your canvas a lot. Okay, one of the reasons I like leaving the face structure in a different layer is because now you can move the facial features around without compromising the face structure you did. So something I like to do, for example, is make this little detail here on the eyebrows that I usually forget. But other than that, for example, if I were to move this eye, I can just cut it and move it around, no problem. I said that and then I merged the layers, which is why I love layers. I'm gonna work on the nose and the mouth. If you want like in-depth tutorials on like facial features, let me know. Because if I do like an in-depth, like how I draw noses, how I draw eyes, here, once again, it would be like 3 hours long. So if there's like a specific part of the face you would like me to talk about, let me know. Now, as you can see, I'm adding some detail here on the lips, and you'll see more later on a different layer with a different opacity. And this is just what I mentioned before, that I have a hard time visualizing the drawing unless I add extra details that might be unnecessary for other people. Yes, you can see I'm just adding just a bunch of detail that it's a little unnecessary, but it just makes me see a better picture. I'm gonna add a darker layer, define things a little bit more. I think this is a little dark right now. Can't see very well. Now I'm gonna add some highlights, and I get asked a lot why. Wait, let me fix that mouth because it's actually bothering me. It's a little weird. As you can see, I ended up scrapping the other mouth and just made a new mouth close because the other one wasn't working. And that's what I mean, like when you're sketching, sometimes you just have to move things around until you like them, redraw things. And that's one of the main reasons I never record or stream my sketches, because sometimes it's just so much moving it around that I just hate it. Hate looking at it. I'm adding like more blush because this is like a lot of blush. Okay, anyways, highlights. That was before I changed them out. I'm gonna be honest, most of how I add highlights is where I would add highlights in my makeup. It's never based on lighting unless it's like a very specific commission, which I rarely do those kinds of commissions. There are like a background and lighting sources and all that. I rarely do shit like that, so I usually don't care about lighting in this kind of drawing. And I like putting light where I like putting highlighters or concealer in my face. I actually don't have any highlighter on today because I left it in my mom's room and she's asleep. Didn't want to disturb her, so I'm just wearing a very shiny blush, but usually this would be like pfft. Anyways, this is not a makeup video. I don't do those anymore. I'm just gonna draw an ear because I just realized she doesn't have an ear. And even if I know from the start that I'm gonna draw hair that is gonna cover the ear, I'm gonna, at this point, I already like how the face looks, so at this point I'm gonna merge the face with the face. That made no sense. But yeah, unless I know, even if I know that the ears are not gonna be visible due to a haircut or an accessory or clothing, I still draw it just in case. Because sometimes you think the ear is not gonna be showing, but then like you get like a little bit of the tip here or a little bit of the tip here. So I just do it anyways, and if I have to erase it, then I have to erase it, you know. So adding some cute accessories because this will be a drawing I'll do one of these days. So I think at this point I have like, oh my god, it's really looking a lot like the original one, isn't it? At this point, I think you know like my most basic techniques when sketching. So I'm gonna skip a lot here. But even, I'm not good at drawing clothing. So I usually try to make clothing as stuck to the body as possible. And that's why I always draw the body, even if there's gonna be clothing on top. So that's what I'm gonna do. Also, this isn't a completely new layer. You'll see why in a second. Something I do that you definitely don't have to do is clean up your lines. I do it once again because it's just easier for me to visualize the drawing as I'm going if I have clean lines and a cut out drawing, and because of I don't want Patron to have just a mess of a drawing, of a sketch that they don't understand. But you don't have to clean your lines, you can have messy lines. Okay, so I like doing really, I don't know, I like meaty arms. It's sort of a weird thing to say. I like when arms look meaty, so I tend to do thicker arms. Remember to save your drawing. So I literally just copied this pose. So if you're coming up with your own poses, use a reference from a real person or yourself. Take a picture of yourself. I do that a lot too, especially for hands. So one of the reasons I mentioned that you should have your head and your body in different layers is because if you're like me, you have big head syndrome, where you sometimes draw heads a little too big. It's very convenient when you can just do this and fix the size of the head. Make it bigger. Well, I never make it bigger because originally it's always bigger, but you can make it the size you want. Actually, I think this head is not too big. It might be a little too big, but I also like my drawings to have with heads on the bigger side, once again because I do portraits and I don't know, I sometimes feel they look better, especially when I'm drawing younger characters. I'm gonna give her like the simplest outfit. Yes, why do all your drawings always have chokers? Because I like chokers. I'm trying not to draw the same shirt I gave her. Hi, a little something if you have problems with your shapes when you're drawing, just draw the shape and then like erase inside of it. Then you have the shape you want. That's a little something that I do sometimes for different things, not just like shirt colors, but like sometimes I'm just having trouble drawing, let's say a leg, so I would draw the shape of a leg because sometimes, I don't know, it's just easier for me to visualize things like when they're filled than when they're empty, like that, and then I would erase inside. Or alternatively, you can leave it like that, put the opacity down, new layer, and just draw the lines on top, you know? That's a little something extra that I'm not gonna apply in this drawing, but it might be useful if you're sketching. Okay, so I don't know what this shirt is supposed to be, but it's the shirt I gave her. I'm gonna add some blushies and highlights here, like I did before, because as I said again, I just can't help myself, you know? I never do this cleanly either, like sometimes it goes over the liner and I just don't care. Now, there's a few things I don't like right now about it, and most of them have to do with the shape of this arm. I don't know, it looks a little weird, and it's probably because it's missing some shading. So I'm gonna add like a little bit of a shadow here. And that just like really helps me when I'm having trouble. I just don't like how the drawing is looking. I just add shadows to help me like the drawing, because sometimes it's just that it's looking a little too flat, and as I've said a million times in this video, I have a hard time visualizing things unless they're explicit. Like, I don't even know how to explain this, because it's not that I don't have like a good imagination. Like, I can basically imagine a drawing and then draw it. I can do that, but the whole process, I'm like, this looks terrible, this looks terrible, I need to stop and restart. And it's not that it looks terrible, it's just that it's an incomplete version of it. So I start completing it as much as I can, so my brain stops telling me to restart, because it's one of those things about me that I can't help. And depending on the day, like today, it's not a good day. I've had a migraine since the 23rd. You know, my last video I said I had a migraine. Yeah, I still have a migraine. In days where I'm like really down and I'm second guessing myself, the little voice saying this looks terrible, you should restart wins, and I scrap a drawing that would have probably been a good drawing. once it was finished. So that's why I like add so many details in the way, just to tell that part of my brain to shut up. I think that's the best way I can describe it. I don't know if that happens to anyone else. I have no idea what hair I'm gonna give her. So the thing I like to do with hair is I like to make it like kind of how I make this undersketch of the body. I like making an undersketch of the hair, and I do it in a different color because it differentiates it from the drawing and it's easier for me to visualize once again. So the little voice in my head stops saying, this is terrible, scrap it. So when I do this, it's not usually like pretty, because especially like today I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So sometimes I just start doing like nonsensical stuff on the head area while I think about what's gonna look good. I think I've done this hairstyle way too many times recently. Well, I've been scrolling for way too long and I still don't know what I want, so I'm just gonna go for something I do a lot. Also, something you want to take into account is where your hair is going. So I'm going to draw like some little buns here. So you have to take into account that some of the hair has to go up here, but some of it has to go down. So this is more like just putting the direction the hair is going to go. I don't know what the buns are going to look like yet. I just know that they're going to be there. So this is the undersketch of my hair. Now I'm gonna put my original, I'm gonna lock and lower the opacity of my original body because it just makes it easier for me to see. And I'm gonna lower the opacity of the undersketch too and lock that too, because as I said, I sometimes merge layers together and then I have a hard time. Now I'm gonna be more clean on how I sketch the hair. And also one of the reasons I like being so clean is because I have a bad memory, right? And sometimes if I am very like sketchy and abstract or just don't like make things exactly how I want them to look in the moment, and I open this sketch like a week later to do the liner, I don't understand my own sketch because I don't remember. So another reason why I like my things being clean is so I can open this like a month later and be like, yes, this is what I want to do. So I'm now gonna do the clean sketch for this hair, and just notice how I try to visualize where the hair is going. So in this particular hair I'm doing here, it wraps around the head, so I'm trying to make it seem like it wraps around the hair. It's not gonna look too good now, might look better when I do the actual drawing. But once again, one of those things I like to put so in case in a week I forget. I think something you should always take into account if you're like me and you do like more stylized drawing, it doesn't have to be realistic. It has to make sense enough so that when people look at it, they're like, oh, it's a person. Your hair, you're gonna draw hair, you want it to look fun, then like make it defy gravity. Who cares, you know? It's a stylized drawing, it doesn't have to be accurate. Okay, so here's like what the hair kind of looks. It looks a little weird, like right here. So I'm gonna, actually not that one. I'm gonna take the mesh tool, mesh transformation, and I'm just gonna move this a little here because it just looks a little out there. Yeah, that's a little better. Now, something I purposely avoided doing while the mesh tool takes a little to settle. One thing I avoided doing while I was drawing the sketch was the little stragglers, hairs out of position I like doing. I'll show you why. I'm gonna erase everything in the body that goes under the hair. Also, a great way to work on or hide things you don't like in your drawing is to put hair on top. I do that all the time. This hair here looks weird, but I'll think about that in the liner. So I always like putting the hair in the color of the rest of the sketch because I can visualize it better. Okay, so as you can see, the hair doesn't look bad. It just kind of looks flat, and if that's what you're going for, fine. But something I find just gives a lot of personality to your drawing is drawing little stragglers. I don't know if they're called stragglers. I've always called them stragglers, but that might be something I made up. And as you can see, it's like this one I just drew here, and I just like adding a lot of those in different spots. I added one here while I was sketching, but then I was like, oh, maybe I should wait. I also like doing tiny little ones like this when the hair is like close here, because I mean, I have short hair, so all my hair is like that. But even when I had long hair, I had all this baby hairs around here. So, and like in the little buns, you can do like little pieces that are up, because buns are usually, especially how I drew them here, can get a little messy. I think it just gives the hair a lot more personality. That's the hair. So sometimes I just leave it like that, but sometimes, like today, I'm like, oh, I want this hair to be this color. I don't draw the color it is, I just make a note somewhere. I do fill it in, so. And then I just add little highlights because I think it looks flat and boring and I want to give it a little life. For the patrons, if you don't know, I have a Patreon. It's not like a very amazing Patreon, it's just for people who want to support me in other ways. But I do have like small little perks, like for example, Patreon is gonna see tier 2 patrons, which are $5, are gonna see this video a day early. And they also get all my drawings in full quality, 300 DPI, because social medias I don't post full quality, because that just makes it easier for people to steal your work. And as someone who has had their work stolen, video coming soon, yeah, I don't like that. And also it's a little perk for the people who support me. And then if you do only $1, you get access to all my sketches. And I haven't, for like maybe 6 months, I haven't been posting my sketches anywhere other than Patreon. So that's like exclusive, only patrons have my sketches. So yeah, this is the sketch we did. I'm probably gonna work on it in the future, and you will see it in a future speed paint. I hope this wasn't too confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I actually really like this drawing. We did a good today. Let's give us a little clap. It's not like a mind-blowing process, but this is my most asked questions for like years, how I sketch, because I never post my sketches on my speed paints. I rarely sketch on stream. So people are always like, why don't you do it? And it's just because I find it like a boring process most of the time. But yeah, this is my last video of 2020, and I thought, what better way to finish 2020 than by giving people my most requested. Like, I have not only people suggested this on Twitter, but I have a little suggestion box on the description, and I have like 5 people who have suggested a how to sketch video. And I also get asked about it on Instagram a lot through the years. So here it is. I'm gonna edit this, so hopefully it's out by the 31st, and I will see you next year. My next video is gonna be a compilation of all my Twitch clip highlights, so it's not gonna be like me talking, it's just gonna be like a highlight video. I do it every year. If you're new here, you might not know that I do a compilation for my gaming, art, and makeup streams. I'll see you next year, I guess. Thank you so much for supporting me this year. It was an amazing year for me. I have like so many new friends, and a lot of them I met through YouTube. They found me on YouTube thanks to my Butch Hartman video, which is my most viewed video probably ever. And a lot of people found me through it, and I made friends through it. So it's really amazing, like just posting videos as your hobby can do. Yeah, if you have any suggestions for future videos, as you can see, I eventually get to them. And I'll see you next year. Have a happy new year, and I'll see you next time. Bye.